Scorpio. It's the 8th sign in the zodiac and represents those who are born between October 24th and November 22nd. Scorpio in Greek mythology comes from the story of Orion. This giant of a man was the son of Poseidon and Euphriale, and who is also said to be the most handsome man alive. He and Artemis were hunting partners. Orion was a great hunter who had boasted that he could kill any animal on earth. Gaia was angry with Orion and sent Scorpius, a giant scorpion, to kill him. The two fought and both were killed in the struggle, but from their ashes rose the constellations Scorpius and Orion. Zeus placed both Scorpion and Orion in the heavens as constellations. Scorpion is a pretty big constellation. Scorpius contains several bright stars, including Antares, one of the brightest stars in the night sky, and it also contains the stinger of its namesake, the bright star Crab, which marks the scorpion's head. According to astrology, Scorpio is a water sign, and the traits of those born under the sign include determination and loyalty. This zodiac sign is associated with death and rebirth, which makes sense when you consider that its ruling planet is Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld. Scorpio is one of the most mysterious and intriguing signs in the zodiac. With its personality traits that are both fiery and intense, Scorpios have a reputation for being both passionate and determined. Scorpios are known for their innate sense of intuition and their sharp analytical skills. They tend to be very perceptive, picking up on subtle cues that others could miss. This often makes them excellent problem solvers, as they can quickly identify problems and develop effective strategies for solving them. In addition to their intelligence, Scorpios are also characterized by their fierce determination. Once they set their sights on a goal, well then they're unlikely to give up until they achieve it. This tenacity can both be a positive and a negative trait, as it can lead to great success, but also stubbornness and inflexibility. Scorpios are also known for their passion and their intensity. They tend to approach everything in life with great enthusiasm and energy, and this sometimes can result in impulsive decisions. But it also makes Scorpios very exciting and fun to be around. Okay, so now I'm about to switch over to Skype, which means that the sound quality will change until I can figure out another way of doing these interviews, okay? Well, today I have with me a Scorpio man, and well, let's ask him. Hi, Cathbad, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, right, so we're going to start off really gentle with some icebreaker generic questions first, okay, just as that our listeners can really get a feel for who you are as a person, okay? So, I mean, we're going to start off with, well, what's your favorite food, or what's your favorite meal?
Food's always good. I love food. So, favourite food has to be lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
But favourite meal would be medieval feasting. And then you get all sorts of food all in one, which is maybe kind of like lasagna, just instead of layers, you get courses.
Okay, so what's your favourite song or favourite genre of music?
Favourite genre of music would be metal. Anything you can angle grind to. Blacksmithing, so that's handy. But yeah, anything that's got a bit of bite, but passion and daydreams, things that take me places.
That's cool. What's your favourite genre of movies? Do you like horror, comedy, romance?
Probably sci-fi, imaginative movies, films that will take me into another realm where I can explore possibilities. And that can be through horror or it can be through epic romantic fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, things that help me escape the mundane.
That's awesome. What's your current career or your dream career?
They are one and the same at the moment.
Yay!
if you can call them a career. I am an artist, which is the shorthand for I do what I see needs to be done when I see it, and transform the stuff of everything I find into art.
Fantastic. How would you describe your sense of humor? Is it a bit dark? Is it a bit more light-hearted?
For a while, I thought I'd lost my sense
Yeah.
of humor. Um, I went through this phase of thinking that humor was based on negative stereotyping and just foolishness. Um, so sometimes I stopped laughing at things. I just started taking it all really seriously, and that led to interesting thoughts. But um, I've grown through that, and I think I like things that are absurd, or that surprise me, or make me think and then laugh.
Okay, so what zodiacs do you typically get along with, and who do you least get along with? And don't worry if you can't answer that one.
I'm afraid, although I'm interested in all the invisible things that make human being more than just flesh and blood, I haven't used Zodiac in thinking about relationships at all, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't really answer that one.
Okay. Right, so we're going to move on now to the more deeper questions, okay? So what qualities are important to you in a partner?
Yeah. Well, it depends what the partnership is going to be, which is
Yeah.
a evasion of the question a little. Um, but I like. I think we exist as relationships, and in many relationships. So the more of them that overlap, the closer the partnership becomes. And probably shared dreams is really important to me, which means it needs to be somebody who is able to dream and dream during the day, not just at night.
Yeah.
And then that kind of being a bit clever as well. So thinking about things and then thinking about things and not getting too lost when I start thinking about things.
So someone who's a deep thinker.
It kind of helps, I, or at least has the determination to hang
Yeah.
around long enough for me to talk myself out of the mess I've got myself into, and the courage to stand up to me. Like I can spin a good story, so I need people who can stand up to me and tell me when I need to stop talking, and that I got it all completely wrong. But I also need them to be kind so that they don't
Yeah.
tell me that too often or in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some qualities, I guess, that are important.
Okay, cool. So what advice would you give to somebody who's wanting to get to, who's wanting to date or get to know another Scorpio man? So say, for example, someone's listening right now and they're listening because they've got a bit of a crush on their Scorpio man and they're trying to impress their Scorpio man. But what advice could you give to them?
How do you impress someone? um, well, everything has to be founded on actually getting to know the person. So I would suggest listening. I mean, if you want to impress somebody, then you need to know what they think is important so that you can actually do something they think is impressive rather than just something that is extremely difficult or extremely dangerous or extremely silly. There's a phrase that's been running through my head recently of deep calls to deep. Um, so, yeah, having the ability to go beyond the surface conversation and chatter that fills the airwaves and actually think and talk about things that are important.
Yeah, so
Very
no
scary.
no small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small talk is great, but yeah, if you're interested in somebody for more than just someone to while away the hours while we wait until we're dead, then you need to go beyond small talk.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so what are your turn-ons and turn-offs in a relationship or in a potential relationship?
Yeah, I had to think about this one a lot, as I've been in one relationship for all my adult life. I will confess to being an artist, and beauty is awesome and will catch my eye, but it takes more than that to make a connection.
That's brilliant. Okay, so how do you behave when you're flirting or crushing on someone? So what do you have any tells? And how can somebody tell if you're flirting with them? Again, it's probably going to be difficult to answer because, as you've just said, you've been in one relationship for your entire adult life. So,
Although it means that, yeah, the same behavior exists within that relationship. And also, sometimes there are boundaries that I don't cross.
yeah,
You can still be attracted to people. It just means that yeah, you choose to act in a different way. So, yeah, I suppose and remembering as well from early in my life, you want to be in the same place as people, you're closer to them, engage them in conversation. So how do people tell if I'm flirting with them? I guess I try and make them laugh. And yeah, I don't know if it counts as flirting, but philosophy. um, yeah, metaphysics is not a normal form of flirting, I guess, but questioning the nature of reality with somebody and exploring legend and myth. Yeah, like I said, I think we are all made up of many relationships and
yeah,
many types of relationship, and just the form of relationship that's usually associated with flirting is a small thread in many stranded silken cord, maybe more like a spider's web that links us all together.
yeah, it's very true. Okay, so how do you deal with injustice? So let's say someone's throwing false accusations towards you. How do you handle that? And how do you handle or cope with injustice that is done to others?
So, if people make unjust claims or claims against me that I think are unjust, then my first instinct is probably to laugh at them, uh, um, unless they have something that means I actually have to think about. Um, so, yeah, being prepared, living a life. I mean, no one is beyond reproach, but living a life that is as much beyond reproach as possible means that when someone makes a false allegation against you, you can treat it with seriousness, but also with a certain lightness, because it's false, and false things fall apart. Um,
True.
if it's somebody else, then I have a strong urge to defend them. Um, Even if it's an accurate accusation that's made against somebody, then I still have a strong urge to defend them. But it would be a different form of defense that needs to be taken.
That's really, really interesting because I interviewed another Scorpio man, and the answer that you just gave is pretty much spot on with exactly what he said as well. And you've not listened to his interview yet because you've not been allowed to.
That is interesting. But then, and obviously I would say this, uh, why would you do anything different?
Hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see how the other interviews go and what their answers are like.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, right. So I have got a list of the Zodiac stereotypes, and we're going to go through them and find out which of these you agree with and which of these you disagree with. And also feel free to elaborate on any of these as well. Okay.
Sure.
Right. So driven and ambitious.
I have a tendency to get fixated on goals, and when I'm involved in a project, I will work around it, and the rest of the world can disappear. Um, but yeah, I try not to be. My goals they can be. I'm an artist, so
Yeah.
my goals can be. It's not like gaining loads of money or doing something that other people might think are the sort of things that are ambitious.
Yeah, I got you. So you've got a different version of what ambition actually is.
I like to think so.
Yep. Fierce determination.
Yeah, I think that kind of links to the first one.
Yeah, definitely. Passionate.
Yeah, uh, why do anything unless it's something that you can be passionate about?
Makes
And
perfect sense.
when you're doing something, uh, it's good to have your whole being involved in
Yeah. Charismatic and magnetic.
it. Yeah, I think you'd have to ask people around about that. They're all very nice complimentary things to say.
Yeah, I have personally heard a lot of people say Cathbad is so charismatic, like unbelievably charismatic. So yeah, I'd say for you particularly, I would definitely agree with that one. Definitely.
Thank you.
Um, Now the next one. This one triggers me a little bit. Intense. And the reason it triggers me a bit is because oftentimes when people use that as a descriptive term for Scorpios, they mean it with being like serious and dark and depressing, that kind of intense. But
Yeah,
what do you
uh,
think, Tip?
broody, sitting with your hood over your eyes,
Mm.
eyes that are deep wells that lure people into a world of mystery where they lose themselves. And
Yeah.
um, so, yeah, I think, yeah, serious, intense, yes. Serious, I think um, my approach is that if something is important and serious, then you can laugh while you're talking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sort of dark and brooding path is not mine.
Yeah.
But more the intensity of a feasting hall with mead being passed round and songs in the air. Uh, aye. So
That's
so
awesome.
Galadriel
Yeah.
in Tolkien's world,
Mm.
uh, she is intense. Um, but the thing that I get frustrated at is they don't catch the laughter and the lightness that I see in the way that she's written. Um, and so, for example, when she takes on the dark powers, she does it through singing a song that reminds people of consolation and happy days and uh, a woodland full of bluebells. Um, serious stuff. But
Mm.
it's difficult to try and catch somebody with a flower. Yeah, the intense blue in a flower is, it's solid.
Yeah. Transformative.
Yeah, that's an interesting word.
It is, isn't it?
Um, and I suppose I use my art to help people. Like the way I describe it is access their past, so that they can encounter their present in a different way and think about a better future.
It's beautiful. Stubborn.
I have been known to continue on a path even though I should probably have stopped.
So that's a yes then. Impulsive.
That's interesting. I really do consider things a lot and think about things a lot. And I, the sort of blank sheet of paper I can look at for a long time before I do anything. But maybe that's just that I've realised that not all impulses are best to follow. Um, I guess if you looked at me, you could. Oh yeah, the way my impulsiveness would show is I give stuff away as gifts a lot.
Right.
Someone
Yeah.
tells a great story, I'll hand them a piece of jewelry that I happen to have in my fingers. I guess that counts as impulsive.
Yeah, I'd say so. Right. So the next stereotypes are more of the negative ones, and it's not going to be any surprise to you at all to learn that Scorpio has the longest list of negative stereotypes, even over and above Capricorns. Right. So dangerous.
See, dangerous isn't a negative trait. Um, depending on who you are. uh, aye. But yeah, if you've got people who are serious and passionate and stubborn and impulsive as well, then yeah, that could be dangerous.
Yeah.
And there's a certain attraction I confess I feel to being dangerous. But this also links to the ambitious. Depends what your ambitions are.
That's very true. Manipulative.
Is that suggesting in a kind of getting people to do things without them being aware of what or why they're doing them?
I would say so. Yeah.
I suppose that's the dark side of charisma.
That's true.
And you have to be self-aware in order to recognize that, well, the way you tell the story will influence people. And yeah, it's easy to be manipulative even without intending harm. So being conscious of your actions is important. So the charisma becomes good charisma rather than manipulation.
Yeah. Vengeful.
Well, again, I guess if you are passionate and you have and you have a fierce determination, then when things go wrong for you, it's easy to apply that to trying to gain power over others and gain vengeance. But yeah, personally, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what is it about a chain? It links two people together. So you tie yourself to whoever it is you're trying to chain. No, I'm more ambitious than that. Simple vengeance isn't enough.
Exactly. I would never, ever describe you as being vengeful, ever. And for those listening, I have known Cathbad, how many years? It's over 20 by now. It has to be over 20 years by now. I would never describe you as vengeful, ever. Lusty. Depends what you're lusting after.
Does indeed. Yeah, lust being one of the cardinal sins. Yeah, again, I guess um, yeah, philosophy is the love of wisdom, and wisdom is life. So, yeah, having a lust for life, that totally fits with being a philosopher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to be careful what it is you're lusting after.
Obsessive. That would be a yes.
Yeah.
It's the laugh. The laugh tells it all.
I discovered something during lockdown that was awesome. There's a type of art called Latin, and it's a sort of swirling, spiraling, very abstract form of art. And for about 30 years, I've been trying to draw it. And during lockdown, I found I was able to draw a couple of pictures that actually looked Latin to me and looked like the circles were going in the right way. So yeah, to obsess about drawing circles for 30 years and then to be exceedingly happy when you manage to do one you like, yeah, I think that counts as obsessive.
That's awesome. Jealous.
I have been given so much that I am blessed with little opportunity to combat jealousy. But yes, the the feeling is not a stranger to me, and when it hits hard.
Wow. I was not expecting that one.
Well,
Oh.
it takes a while to let go of things. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done well, huh? If that surprises you. Yeah, like all things, I think there are positive and negative ways in which qualities can emerge. And
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
so, yeah, I've been blessed with people who've managed to help me maintain the web of relationships that means that aspects of me that would be prone to jealousy.
Mm-hmm. More tempered.
And I would not relish the challenge of being required to explore that deep.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, jealousy can destroy you.
Absolutely. Secretive.
Not telling you. One of my defenses against the desire to be secretive is to be as open as I can. Because that secretive one, I mean, charismatic, if you did it in a secretive kind of way, would then become manipulative.
Yep.
If you have a lust for things that you only indulge in a secretive manner, then that would lead to dangerous habits. Yeah. So, yeah, of course, I'm not going to tell you anything about any secrets I got.
Holds grudges.
It does fit with the pattern of things, doesn't it?
Does a wee bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do I hold grudges? I think it might be one that I'm blessed in that I haven't been given too much reason to. Maybe it's just that I don't go anywhere near people after I've got a reason to hold a grudge against them. So it disappears.
Yeah.
I don't particularly see that one.
So they're more like boundaries for you rather than grudges.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do get them two things confused.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, careful boundaries is probably good because there's not it's like not having a desire for vengeance or not indulging a desire for vengeance, but also making sure that I'm protected.
Absolutely.
If you're going to get deep with somebody, then you need to be able to trust that person. And trust takes a long time to build.
It does, and it's very quickly broken as well.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So we've got some questions from our subscribers. And some of these are really, really interesting, right? So we've got Tammy Mees, and she says, was wondering, as a Scorpio man, have you ever dated a Scorpio woman? And if so, what was your experience like? My first love was a Scorpio man, and I'm a Scorpio female. I'm just reflecting back, and it was probably one of the most tumultuous relationships I have ever had, but one that's also very hard to forget.
So I'm afraid, as I've said before, I haven't kept track of star signs of people who I've dated. Also, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But if you've got two people that meet on a really deep level, then yeah, that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so Victoria Collegia asks, Scorpio man in a relationship, what is your deal breaker and what is your deal maker? And does anybody get a second chance?
So yeah, everyone gets a second chance. Some second chances are like passing through a change that is death-like, maybe. They're big second chances. But without forgiveness in a relationship, I don't think the relationship can last.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you've got two perfect people. And how many of them are there in the world? Deal breakers. For me, it would be abandoning the dream. Yes. Like, I like to imagine that I would forgive most things, but other than the commitment to be with each other, or the dream of being with each other. Because if you no longer dream of being one with somebody, then where can you go from there?
Yeah.
Except for everyone passes through bad phases, and there are always second chances.
It's very true. Okay, right. So YH5 asks, does having You've already answered this one like 3 times. Does having multiple romantic interests appeal to you, or do you prefer to be solely focused on or committed to just one person? As Scorpio women here, I'm just wondering if the same applies to both sides generally.
Well, yeah, all that long list of really nice things that were said in the description of Scorpio can go really bad really quickly. So I think I chose to commit to one person, partly as a response to recognizing who I was, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just Scorpio or not, but I think rather than multiple romances, I think a broad network of human relationships, but for the romantic one, sticking with one person.
Just one. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, Crystal Russell asks, as a Scorpio, are you naturally drawn to the darker side of things and people, not in a twisted way, but in a curious what makes them tick way?
So, all depends what you mean by dark. I would say the twilight. I'm not drawn by the dark because in darkness you can't see anything, and you just get stuck. And people who like the dark or are drawn to the dark, in my experience of them, have tended to be drawn to having power over things.
Yes.
However, the Twilight realm, where the darkness is present, but it's more a realm you can explore, and ambiguity is all over the place. That's more what I think. But then the boundaries of places are what are often described as being dark. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Okay, so Melody Dix is asking, do you believe that more than one person can win in a situation? So what is your definition of power? That laugh.
Of course, more than one person can win in a situation.
Uh-huh.
But if you define power as opposition between two people, then you can only ever have one that wins. I believe there is a greater power, and that is a power in which the best can be drawn out from any occasion. Might not be what either or any of many people want, but if you let yourself be confined to absolutes, then you're heading down a dark path.
Yeah.
I think that answers the question, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good question. So Lisa Brow asks, what positive attributes do you see in others or in other star signs or just other people that you wish that you had within yourself?
Why desire something you don't have? It's such a bad. I'm quite happy being me. If I had more bum glue, if I could sit down and work on a mediocre task for longer, then I might finish one of the many books that I was writing. I don't know if that's an attribute of a star sign.
Does that more focus?
More focus and attention to detail, or a delight in the ordinary.
That's so boring.
Well, that's the problem, see. If I could delight in the ordinary, then I would be a much better gardener, because I would find pleasure in just weeding plants. And as it is, I can enjoy it as a philosophical venture when I'm in the mood.
Okay. Right. Happy Days asks, my question is, do you really believe that Scorpio is jealous? It's a repeat of the yes and no questions, isn't it?
If people are passionate and deep and committed, then that is fantastic when things are working well. And in a relationship, when it is matched and met by the free choice of another. When, however, it is not reciprocated or not matched for many reasons, then yeah, those positive attributes can easily turn to negative.
Yeah.
And you just have to let go, refocus. Let that little bit of you die, even if it's your heart.
Oh.
Yeah, but then I believe the way to life is through confronting death. So
yeah,
not in a don't take that literally sense, metaphysically encounter it in your mind. All those who are feeling an urge to encounter death more closely, talk to someone about it.
Yeah, it's all about doing that shadow work, basically, isn't it? It's acknowledging and then confronting the pieces of yourself that you don't like.
Yep.
Just, yeah. Okay, so Patricia T asks, was it easy, difficult, or meh to get over the women that broke your heart?
Well, I've been blessed in not needing to cope with too many breakups.
Yep.
But then maybe you could say my commitment to staying in a relationship could be a defense mechanism against how many thousands of millions of small shattered pieces I would break into if I was in the position of being let down. Who knows? I don't.
Right. Okay, so Shoniz Naidu, I do apologize if I've mispronounced your name. My husband is a Scorpio, and I'm wanting to know when in love and committed, do they love and trust with all, or do they hold something back? So it's like,
Sorry,
how close do you actually let people in?
How long can they hold their breath?
Wow. Spoken like a true Scorpio.
I mean, it's not a matter of holding things back, but we're changing all the time and growing and and discovering new things about ourselves. So, yeah, even this might be the charisma manipulative, but it would be manipulative to deliberately hold something back. It would be sensible to have good boundaries, and if you're charismatic, then you're inviting people along for a ride that you've got no idea where it's going to end. You just passionately believe that it's the right way to be going. So without even trying to hold things back, there are depths that even you haven't discovered yet. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that you brought up there, to be fair. Wow.
So I think my hope is that means that in long relationships, and my experience, I guess, long relationships, you can explore depths that it takes decades to even start framing the questions.
Okay. So I am Abdillah asks, as a Scorpio man, why do you ghost people without explanation?
I don't recognize them. I was thinking about the nature of existence rather than remembering to recognize people when I walk past them on a bus. I don't know. My experience personally is not in ghosting them. It's more in feeling mortified because I can kind of sense out why I should remember them, but can't actually remember their name or occasionally their face. And
yeah. So have you ever been guilty of just stopping communication with anybody? Just no reasoning, no explanation, just stopping contacting them, blocking them, just completely ignoring them?
No. So I will stop talking with people. They stop communicating with me, or I believe that they have stopped communicating, or when they demand something that I consider to be unreasonable.
So that takes it back to the boundaries thing again, doesn't it?
Yep. If somebody transgresses the boundaries, and I can't see a reason to go beyond it or to trust it, I suppose. Or I guess, the other side would be as if I was burned out and had no energy, or was had just enough energy to keep myself alive. So that would be a reason, I suppose.
Okay. So Georgia Jones asks, do you have control of your impulses or not?
If I didn't, there are places, secure facilities for me, which I think I'm not clever enough to have avoided in this amount of life.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, impulses, recognizing your impulses and learning to control them is a vital skill that I developed as a child. And perhaps sometimes I need to let my impulses run a little freer every now and then and trust that what is within me is good.
Makes life a hell of a lot more exciting as well.
Yes. Well,
Okay, so Leonard Gooden asks, I know that they say that Scorpios are hypersexual. On September the 9th, I will be 3 years celibate. I'm wanting to know if he, so that's you, is the Scorpio man, is hyperactive sexually or if he takes time to be celibate. Is sex a nonchalant thing or actually is a deeper connection needed?
yeah. Deeper connection is what I would say.
Yep.
And in a sense, marriage is a form of celibacy. Not the technical.
What?
Well, it's a control of your sexual desires and
Yeah.
impulses, and a commitment. But it's not. Yeah, it's not celibacy, obviously, in the full-on monk sense.
Yeah.
But it's a voluntary. Well, yeah. Within a marriage, it's a voluntary controlling of impulses.
Yep.
To build, not for the purpose of building trust. It's part of. But yeah, I think that question's set more in a situation of people dating multiple partners.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's the thing. I mean, Scorpios, they do get a lot of really bad rap. And I mean, the next question is literally pertaining to exactly what I've just said, which is from Dion Ford, who asks why you always a player with addictions, and you know that is one of the main stereotypes that a lot of Scorpios I found have had to face. It's like these accusations of being cheats and drug addicts and this, that, and the next. It's like, well, that's not you, is it? So
I've managed to avoid all of those. But one could ask why it is I have the friends I have and move in the circles I move in. I, there were many paths open to me in my life, and here I am talking about horoscopes and in the setting of tarot cards, rather than sitting in an evangelical seminary somewhere. I think it depends a lot on your choices and how you choose to respond to your impulses.
yeah,
And the environment and the network of relationships you create around you can take you down dark roads you can't escape, or you can walk the twilight and stay on course. Talking riddles a little, but
no, it's not. It's very thought provoking. It's like you're taking people's imaginations into a much deeper place rather than
and
just thinking on the surface level, you know? It's good.
and maybe if you have a passion for deep things, then testing the boundaries of human being with mind-altering substances is a choice that you make. I guess I am ambitious, so doing testing the boundaries of human consciousness without mind and altering substances is of more interest to me. And if I had more bum glue, then maybe I would be able to sit on the side of a hill for a year, just watching stones grow, something like that. See how that worked.
It's bum glue.
Oh, bum glue! It's the
Oh, bun glue.
thing that all authors need. It's the will to sit at your seat and write.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a.
I wasn't sure if I
Wise.
misheard you. So it is bum glue, as in
Yes,
sit your bum down. Got you.
sitting your bum down and just getting on with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, so Angela Vargas asks, what must I do to keep your attention, dear Scorpio male? You're the only one that keeps me perplexed. So obviously Angela is interested in a Scorpio man and wants to know, how can she keep his interest?
Yeah. um, how do you keep anyone's interest?
As a Scorpio man, so what sort of things interest you? Because you're a Scorpio man.
Yeah. Okay. So, to keep my interest, someone would need. Yeah. All impossibilities. They need to be interested in things of and for themselves, so that they're growing and changing. But also need to be interested in my growing passions and interests. And then somehow those two need to match up. Yes, you need to be honest with the person rather than change yourself for them.
That's exactly what our first Scorpio man said as well. Like word for word. That is spooky. Word for word, that's what he said too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, be
Wow.
interesting to see what
That's
everyone else is.
amazing. I can't get over that. That's incredible. That's really cool. So it's very important for them to have their own interests, to be their own person, as well as be interested in what it is that you're doing, in the
Yep.
hope that there's going to be some kind of crossover where you can share a mutual interest, but without living in each other's pockets 24/7.
Yeah, I think that's it. If you change to try and find, if someone were to change to try and find my interest, then I would see through it probably.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
He said that as well.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just absolutely amazed that that's the exact same answers, 2 for 2. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. So I think we've cracked a major secret then for anybody who is interested in dating a Scorpio man. It's super, super important to just literally be yourself and have your own hobbies, your own likes, your own dislikes. And if you try and fake anything to try and impress your Scorpio man, they're gonna pick up on it immediately. That's gonna be a turn off because it'll come across as you being inauthentic, and any kind of inauthenticity, like the Scorpio man's going to see through that like glass. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's really helped quite a lot of people today. Yeah, well, thank you very much for spending your time with us today, Cathbad. It's been absolutely amazing. You've been really, really generous with your time. So what did you all guys think? I mean, were the answers as expected, or was there anything that was a complete surprise to you? Are you a Scorpio man? How would your answers differ or be the same as Cathbad's and Sard's as well, our first Scorpio man? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure that you switch your notifications on, because we're going to be doing more of these interviews with the other zodiacs as well. Thank you all for watching today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.